All right. It is with great sadness to inform you that Brown Dust 2 is self-censoring its own gradonklers. That's very interesting. This is an emergency react because, well, I didn't expect that suddenly to happen, and I do play quite a bit of Brown Dust 2. I like the gameplay, as well as the wonderful pretty women. You get the idea. Anyways, it is very interesting to see how there is, interestingly enough, right? Um, game devs, companies who are willingly self-censoring itself to appease people that do not play their game. Very interesting. I wonder who is asking for censorship. Isn't that odd? We'll go in what they're attempting to censor. Regardless. Also, please consider liking, subscribing. I appreciate your support. We'll go in. This is by Vara Dark. Brown Dust 2 censors outfits and cutscenes after vowing not to, and fans are furious. Yeah, if you remember the whole Steam debacle, where essentially, the Steam was against them putting their game on the platform unless they apply some changes. And then they just said, you know what, we're not going to put it on Steam, we're just going to have our own client, problem solved, right? Well, that's how quickly it changes. Even if they pull back now, it's gonna heavily damage... What's the word? It's gonna heavily damage their reputation and people believing in them. So I hope they can, in fact, apply changes and not do anything. Maybe with enough pushback. That's like always the thing, right? I had a recent discussion with some moron saying, yo, localization, the changes aren't a problem, right? Remember Uma Musume? They changed Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays. And, interestingly enough, that person was arguing that's not a big deal. Okay, if it's not a big deal, why is it happening? That we need to call out small things, because if we do not call out small things, then we're going to eventually see bigger changes happening. Right? Something as small as Happy Holiday needs to be criticized if it's not accurate to the source material, right? Right? So if somebody says Merry Christmas and don't use read Happy Holiday, there's a problem. And I think it needs to be called out as soon as you see it, because if you don't, they'll apply bigger changes. At first it's localization, text. Later it's character designs and character behavior and personality.
In December, we heard that the fan service filled Brown Dust 2 would not be making its Steam launch because.
And it's crazy, right? Because, man, I just love Brown Dust 2. Aside from, like, I like the the system in general, right? This grid-based fighting. I do like that a lot, too. That's why it's so frustrating.
Just a few days before release, Steam banned it, and the developers were refusing to make changes. They were going to stand their ground, which seemed amazing. They said that accommodating Steam wouldn't preserve the game's core direction, but now it seems that that is not the case, as they are going to be altering and censoring content in this title, and it seems to be so they can.
Let me guess. It's the Tap Tap game, and at least one of the lollies. I'm pretty sure it's at least one of the lollies.
Try to get a Steam launch. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content,
Remember how some games have like these, what's the word? Like these shadows under the skirt so you can't see what's under the skirt? Or like between the legs? Brown Dust 2, don't you do it.
I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I love to try to stand up for studios that don't want to bend the knee to censorship demands. They want to stand by their title and they want to defend their creative freedom. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Brown Dust 2 anymore, because back in December, they had said that a.
Bro, tell me. They literally just have to see. They may not have the power to fight back, but the community has. Tell us who these people are that demand censorship. Tell us. You can say that it's like, oh, we're gonna make changes because we want to do that, right? We want to do that. Stop lying. You can say it's an in-house decision, but we all know that you've been pressured into doing this. There's no doubt about it.
accommodating Steam wouldn't preserve the game's core direction, and that's why they weren't really focused on the Steam launch anymore. They didn't want to jump through hoops to get it released, but now they are announcing a big wave of censorship and alteration, and they haven't confirmed it's to get a Steam release, but one would deduce that that is the case, as where you play the game right now is on their own launcher. It is through their own channels, and it is unfortunate to see another fan service heavy game being altered for a group of people.
I'm gonna say it. This is a hot take, but I'm gonna say it. If you are against fan service in general, like you want fan service to disappear, you don't like fan service, well, not like you can't like it. I guess you can't like it, but like if you want it to disappear, gone, anything like that, because I've seen that sentiment online, especially for anime. You are a tourist. You are a tourist, and no matter how much you consume the media, you will always be a tourist. Fan service will always be a core aspect of a lot of Asian culture.
People that are not going to play their experience, a group of people
Like media culture, right? Like manhwa, anime, gacha games. You get the idea.
who will not support them anyway, or to appease the censorship overlords in this industry. So there are quite a few different posts going around about this, but it stems from this Brown Dust 2 official 40th developer notes January update, where they do talk about, yes, making changes. Despite previous claims, the developers will finally censor many outfits and cutscenes likely to comply with Steam rules. The
White pure blessing. Repeat. A skill cutscene. Is that the one? That might wait. Is that the one that I think it is? I think I have this lady. That's why. Is it the one that I think it is? Let me see. Yeah, it is. Is it? It is like the lolly in the wedding dress. It is. It is that one. Okay. Yeah, that would gets turned into something else because it's probably school aligned. I'm saying, Nature Claw Rue. Okay, I think I don't have these. Nah, Sayer and Demon's Daughter Sayer. Again, I don't think I have these. Ah, the slap, not the tap. The slap pop minigame. Okay, ha, knew it.
announced changes are White Pure Blessing Rafithia skill cutscene, Therese medical outfit and cutscenes, including a fated guest.
I've never used her. I use the So currently, I have two teams that I mainly use in general. One just consists of bunny girls, and the other one just consists of summer outfits, bikinis and stuff. Anyways,
Nature's Claw Row and White Cat Row skill cutscenes, new Higher Seer and Demon's Daughter Seer cutscenes, mention of the Slap Pop minigame. So it seems that they are bending the knee, and if you are a fan of Brown Dust 2, you are now going to have to deal with them altering content in the game. And
if they generally follow through with this, EOS in like a year or two. End of service. 100%. Definitely.
And this is not the Steam only version. This is just the global version of the experience, because right now there isn't a Steam version. That means that the content that they're altering is just the content that.
By the way, do we know this is Steam? If they're like globally, they could just release the Steam client, right? And have it like the Steam version be censored. But this is globally. I have my suspicion that the EU is involved, but I can't prove it.
You are experiencing right now if you are a player of this game, and it sucks to see so bad, because I'm personally not a Brown Dust 2 player, but I think that the game actually does have a pretty good aesthetic, and I'm fine with fan service in games. I definitely play fan service heavy titles a lot, but seeing them not hold their ground after they were so passionate just a few weeks ago.
But I'm a Brown Dust 2 player. Yes, they did say they're not gonna comply with Steam or anybody, and now they're still doing it. I hate it here.
Really breaks my heart for the people who maybe started playing it then through their launcher because they wanted to support them, or for the people who have played this game for a very long time. And here's another post about it. Here is the censorship we're finding out about. Devs now sure care a lot about pixels, sensibility, and age. It's important to not be abusive. So it says our decision regarding character design and cutscene adjustments. However, how we respond was ultimately our decision, and we take full responsibility for the outcome.
As of now, they gave out 120 tickets. No, 100, was it 120 tickets? I think it was like 80 tickets and 100 and 16,000 premium currency for summons. Obviously, I spent those and then uninstalled, so we'll see what happens, right? I just used those on all the bunny girls, maxed out the bunny girls, like legit. I think two of them, so one of them is max, one of them is 4, and the other one's at least 2. So yeah, there's that.
And it is true that they received external warnings requesting changes to certain in game content. This also could be about payment processors, it could be about PayPal, it could be about Visa and MasterCard. Either way, though, it says Medical Club. It says that it could be interpreted as abusive. The white cats were age inappropriate styling with things like stockings, the demon's daughter.
Fun fact, the stockings of consent. You are telling me, right, that they are wanting to do this because of the stockings, because apparently now adult women cannot wear stockings. That's very interesting. What's next? Height of consent. Adult women must be a certain height, right? Just make like 6-foot women, right? Otherwise they might be children. Also, they cannot be flat because, well, that's also a child. And they cannot look pretty because they're also children. What's next? The stockings of consent. Jeez.
Abusive situation framing and the slap pop minigame depictions that could be interpreted as abusive. But they also now apparently care about age verification because they introduced a self-age verification feature to provide a safer service environment for all users. All newly introduced age verification process
Interesting. That hasn't popped up for me yet. Maybe that gets released after a while. Interesting.
will operate by self-entry, which does not collect personal information from users or perform secondary verification through
Interesting. That did not drop on January 1. On January 1st. Interesting. For me, that dropped like... Has that dropped? Oh yeah, I did that. But that didn't drop for January 1st. I had that like on like... What? Around like... January 3rd? January 4th? Something like that. Interesting. So not all people got that. Yeah, they have that now. And apparently you can't play the game unless you're like over 19, which is oddly specific.
external agencies. So they are facing a lot of backlash right now over this, and rightfully so. Oh no, don't bend the knee. Plus, they have their own launcher. Will the censorship be only on the Steam version or the entire game? And unfortunately, it is the entire game because there isn't a Steam version as of this point in time. Double standards. Steam has porn games. Devs are still forced to censor their anime gachas. Yeah, they do have porn games. They do offer content that is much more risque.
Beating this man's ass. Paul, you're getting your ass beat. 52 replies, 11 likes. You're getting your ass beat.
That is much more adult, but they don't care because they do not have consistent guidelines, and this is such a big problem on Steam, where one day employee A might accept a game, but the next day employee B might reject the same game that could have been accepted from employee A. I mean, if a game is good, it doesn't need nudity to attract players, right? And that is a big part of this game. That is a element that makes the game good. So much for we won't censor, Steam sneezes and devs fold creative vision traded for platform approval. There are literal porn games on Steam. Why are they getting forced to censor so much? And there have been a lot of attacks on anime themed games for a very long time now because the characters
Uh, um, 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 um. So what happened, by the way? Here's a fun fact: Snowbreak, right? Anybody remember that? Since it's brought up here. So Snowbreak also had to censor itself, but here's like a funny thing, right? They also made it so that you can easily, really easily remove the censorship. Isn't that awesome? Isn't it great to just easily remove censorship? Isn't that peak? But yeah, people were like bringing up, oh, where was the outcry for Snowbreak? Well, Snowbreak was from the CCP. That's a different situation, right? This is the Westerners crying, right? Korea doesn't have that issue.
could be interpreted by somebody as being underage. Even if a creator says, yeah, my character's 25, Steam and all of these platforms really could go, well, we think that this character looks like she could potentially be under 18, and so you need to change their outfit.
You know what's insane? I've just realized this after thinking about it. Remember how there is a lot many underage essentially mattress scenes in modern Western media. So here underage would be a problem, but you have no issue essentially showing a smashing scene between two teenagers on television. That is very interesting. I just thought about that and I was like, weird. Suddenly it is a problem. But on Western TV shows it isn't, right? And that's like a lot more because there they have like it is implying that they smash. In these games, that's not the case, right? They just don't have lots of clothes on, which is like this weird censorship thing doesn't make sense because there's teenagers running around with just as like barely any clothes on, like huge cleavage, hands that barely cover anything anymore. You get the idea. Which you should be technically be criticizing that too, but suddenly here for Asian games is the problem. But for reality and Western TV shows, that's not an issue. I wonder why. I wonder why. I really wonder why. Like, if you criticize these things, at least be consistent, right? At least be consistent. Be like, we don't want to see underage nudity. Okay? Or we don't want to see characters that may depict children as a underage dude and stuff, right? No more teenage sex scenes in movies, TV shows. Tell girls to dress accordingly because, well, again, you gotta be consistent. Okay? I'm just saying, like, it's weird that this only affects Asian games. For Western stuff, there's no problem. It's just odd.
Their dialogues, their character arts, and censor your experience. And most of the time, these studios, well, I get that if your game releases on a platform like Steam, you're reaching so many more people, but you're also pushing away the fans who wanted to support your uncensored vision. I would rather play on their launcher on PC. Game is good because developers made perfect art and animation. Censoring it would kill the passion. There's tons of hentai porn games on Steam. Why is this one a problem? Why is any of this against any Steam rule? It's not even porn. Censorship is censorship. It's all so tiresome. And Steam is being forced to impose those rules by payment processors, put the blame where it belongs. And this is partially the truth, but the issue is that, as I've been talking about on this channel for years at this point, if you go back 4, 5, 6 years before all of this payment processor bullshit started, Steam was censoring anime games. Steam was forcing developers to censor it. And now I do think that there is a problem where Steam is saying, oh yeah.
Even Sony does this. Ayuden Chronicles? I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. Released on the PlayStation, right? and was censored on the PlayStation. It was not censored on the Nintendo Switch. I think that's what it called. It was something chronicled. Regardless, not Xenoblade, that's for sure. Though even Xenoblade received censorship, Mithra and Pyra. Regardless, it is questionable to me how this is okay.
Yeah, well, you need to comply with our rules because of payment processors, even if it's just because they want these games to be altered. And this is why you need to put the blame on both of them equally. Because yes, Steam is being pushed around, but Steam also has done the pushing around for years. There are thousands of literal porn games on Steam, but the suggestive gotcha is where Steam draws the line. Yes, unfortunately. And my wallet's closed, support censorship, lose my business. Simple as so. I will be following this pretty closely. I'm curious to see if the developers release another statement. I'm sure Steam will not, and a lot of players of this title are very upset right now, and it sucks to see this happening.
I uninstalled it. I still play. So the gachas I play right now, right? I'm gonna let Vara finish.
But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all.
So, gacha games that have decent amounts of fan servers that I play right now. So I uninstalled Brown Dust 2 because I'm not supporting that. Unless they change something again. Chaos Zero Nightmare. Not only is the art style really pretty, the enemy design is really interesting. It's a card game as well. And the fan service is decent. Lost Sword goes crazy with its skins. Like, at this point, it's just borderline. They're not wearing much anymore at this point. Like, there's a character whose private parts are barely covered now. And, like, nipples are covered. That's it. That's it. That's really it. Obviously, Nike. Those 3 games I'm currently playing that have decent fan service that are really nice, and they play also really nice. So there's that. There's that. Regardless, I will be following this too. I will see if Vara uploads more covering this. But yeah, this is the situation currently. Brown Dust 2 is censoring itself, so we'll have to see. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, fight back against censorship whenever you can, or changes from the original source material. Do it, because if you don't, no matter how small it is, you're gonna lose what you love. Anyways, take care, guys. Please consider liking, subscribing. Thank you.